What up, Geekdom? This is Chipmunk doing a review for the movie Smile 2. If y'all don't know, Smile 2 just came out this past weekend. I had watched it, and I'm gonna give my brief review on it, talk about it first, and do a review. Then I'm gonna do a discussion of something that I like to ask everyone a question on when it came to the movie, especially for those who watched it. So there may be some spoilers in the comments. So if y'all haven't seen the movie yet, don't look at the comments. Stay away from comments. But I'm gonna let y'all also know when the spoilers will come. That way, y'all can click off the video for those who haven't watched it. Smile 2 stars Naomi Watts. She plays a pop star, what seems like a big pop star with a large fan base. She has recently went through some trauma due to her substance abuse with drugs and alcohol. She was involved in an accident with her. I want to say it was her boyfriend. And the accident kind of changed her. She was recovering for a year. She's back on tour, and during the time of her tour and stuff, preparing for a tour and everything, she tries to help get like some pain medicine. So she meets up with a friend or an old schoolmate, I should say, to try to get some stuff to help her with her pain that she's dealing with from her accident and stuff, because she still feels a lot of the pain from the accident. And that's when she contracts. I want to say contract just because I feel like it's more of like a parasite or a virus when it comes to this entity that latches onto people. She contracts it from him because he's dealing with it, and she sees him do self-deletion on himself, so she contracts the entity. And during the time of that, she's seeming crazy. She's dealing with it while trying to prepare for her tour and prepare for like other stuff that the record label and stuff has her trying to do, and her mother, who's a manager, is trying to help her deal with a whole bunch of stuff. But it also seems like she's still going through the same substance abuse and everything during the whole time of her dealing with this entity that's smiling at her all the time. And yeah, it's she goes through a lot, and she has to try to find a way to end the cycle. But just like with the first movie, they try to find some type of way to try to end it and make sure it's not passed along. So there's not much more information in this than you get from the first movie. But yeah, as far as just like the differences between the two movies, the first one and this one, I would say mostly is with the pacing and the scares. In the more I want to say amped up violence and blood and gore is very much more amped up in part two than it is the first one. The first one I felt like was slower paced, and I did like the first one when it came to that, to where it's like building up to those intense moments and stuff like that a lot more. I think this one just had a lot more scares and everything. So they were just hitting you with a lot of it. A lot of the jump scares didn't get me as far as just usually when I get jump scared, I can kind of see some stuff coming, which is always great for me to not be that scared. I can see some stuff coming, so it didn't really get me as much as like the first one didn't get me because there wasn't as much jump scares in that one at all. But the jump scares worked pretty well, I thought, with the part two. The scares worked pretty well with part two. It seemed like there was deleted scenes or scenes that were cut from part two that I was thinking probably should have been in the movie, but I'm not for sure. But overall, it still was a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought this was a very much a good contender for the years, as far as just like some of the better horror films from 2024. So yeah, it was very enjoyable. I had some issues with the film, which I'm going to discuss again, but overall, I thought the film was pretty good. Rotten Tomatoes is kind of sitting at an 84, 83 with audience members and critics. So I think it matches up pretty nicely. If I were to give it something, it would be like a 70%, but I was like, it wasn't bad whatsoever. I thought the ending worked pretty well for it. I didn't see the ending coming because that's not what I thought was going to end up happening with it. But I think it does a lot more tricks and playing of the mind way more than the first one. As far as just the length of time that she lost was way more in the second one than it was in the first one. Yeah, so the entity was just ramped up with just we're messing up this person's head. But it might have been due to her having more trauma that it fed off of than in the first movie with the psychiatrist. Because the psychiatrist had some trauma as well, but I don't think it was as big as Naomi's character. But overall, it was still pretty good. I advise everyone to go and see it. It was very much enjoyable. So if you're a horror fan, hey, watch it. You get a lot of blood and gore, and you get a lot of other stuff with it. The makeup and everything for certain stuff look good. There's some aspects to it that I thought was pretty nicely done. I thought the aspects of her being a pop star and the stuff that they added in that they really didn't have to, I thought was pretty nice, because that's certain things that they do as far as just pop stars, singers and stuff. Certain aspects that you normally wouldn't see in a movie, they actually do. As far as the stars and stuff do. So I was like, that's pretty neat that they kept some of the stuff, some of like the small details in there. So yeah, but you should go see it. Now the discussion that I want to have is going to be spoilers. So if you wanted to go ahead and click off, go ahead. If you don't want to hear any spoilers or anything, yeah, it's the perfect time to click off right now. So yeah, the discussion I wanted to have is especially for those who have watched the film, because I was kind of confused on the lore of the entity and how things worked when it came to the first one. I was kind of not understanding what was happening with the first scene with the friend from high school when the cop transferred the entity to him. It didn't make any sense to me, and I was like, I don't know if there was a deleted scene or if there was a ending credits or what happened with that scene, because when he was hit by the car, the only person who saw him was one of the Russian gang members. It wasn't him. I don't remember seeing him see what happened, so I don't know if exactly what happened with in that case, because when old girl met up with the guy, he said he was tracking the people. And when he said he was tracking the people, he said it went from the cop to the pop star's friend, quote unquote high school friend, and then to her. So how, like, if it would have made more sense if it went to one of the Russian dudes and then to him, but he didn't state that. So I don't know exactly how the entity latched onto him if he didn't see the death happen, because that's usually how it passed, is if you see the death happen. And then usually it is supposed to be by them doing self-deletion, like the creature has to go inside the person, and then they do self-deletion. And that was the case after, the pop star goes to his apartment, she sees him, that's what happens with him. The entity goes inside of him. But that didn't happen with our dude, because he got hit by the car and got dragged by the car. His body was torn apart. So it's like, he had to, I would think he would have had to have died exactly right there on that scene. But if it's a case of you have to watch the person be deleted, apologize, I'm forgetting to use that word. Like, it shouldn't have latched onto him, because he was still in the house, the Russian drug dealer's house. I want to say they're Russian, I can't remember, but the Russian drug dealer's house. So how did he contract it? Was my whole thing. I didn't really understand that. So for those who have seen it, let me know. Let me know what the theories are for it. Let me know what y'all think happened with that, because that confused the hell out of me watching it this week. I was like, I gotta watch this again, because I was just so confused on how that worked. Yeah. So I would guess in the future, when it came to some stuff, it's gonna be more of a global thing, since the ending, how it ended with everyone at the concert seeing her do self-deletion. So I think it passed on to all these people at this concert. So it's spreading wider and wider. It's going to spread to a larger amount of the population. I don't know if this is going to be like another movie after this, but it is still crazy to think of how this is going to spread to large amounts of people. it is definitely worrisome in that aspect. And I think it got the right person to try to spread itself to a lot more people. So yeah, that's the crazy thing about it. But yeah, that's the only aspect I think that I really didn't like. But some things I felt like it was cut out. Some things I felt like they didn't need as well. But overall, I thought the movie was really, really good. So yeah. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. Also, just the other discussions and stuff of the movie. Love to talk about it. If you like this video, please put like on the video. If you'd like to subscribe, see some more of my reviews, reactions, and other type of videos that I do, please do check out the channel. I really do appreciate y'all for just jumping on and giving me a try, though. Please do take care of yourselves and others. Peace, geekdom.